I think this should be safe. I don't think so. Yeah. Where's the lights? Lights. A Quiet Place 2. Wow, A Quiet Place 2 does something that I've never seen before in a long time. Making a film worthy of the original, a sequel at that, and dare I say it, even better than the original. Not since Aliens or The Empire Strikes Back that I have seen a sequel that dare to go up against the original, and man, this film did not disappoint me. The film opens with day one in a sleepy town, and the Abbott family, you know, the family that was from the last film, they're at a baseball game. Everyone's so happy until asteroids start falling to Earth. Now, we think these asteroids is where the monsters start to come, and from the first attack, boom! This film just did not stop. The action really grabs you from the neck and never lets go.
No, EMS and fire.
We're about.
I think up by Walker's farm.
I must really admit, I nearly peed in my pants. You know, bangjo. The camera work was pretty awesome. Actually, it was very smooth. Nice steady flow, cut to finish, and it allowed us to be in a mood of suspense and let the monster do the work.
Aww.
Thank God it didn't have the cliche of all the steady cam, you know, or the shaky cam that most monster films have. Now the best part is that the shots never overstay its welcome. It need to stay there and it need to go. Whenever it leaves, we say bye bye. Zack Snyder, please make sure, don't ever make a movie too long. So, after the first attack, the movie continues at day 474, where the last movie ended. We see the Abbott family having to survive and struggle to find a new place to live because the father, Lee, played wonderfully by John Krasinski, died in the previous film, and the farm is not safe anymore. And with the new baby in tow, they have to find shelter, and shelter they find at the abandoned factory, and they meet this guy, Abbott, played wonderfully by Cillian Murphy. Now, Abbott, he lost his wife and his children, and he's lost faith in humanity, so he didn't want to help this family anymore. But Evelyn, played wonderfully by Emily Blunt, pleaded him to take them in, so he did, but for only one night. But then shit happens. The daughter, Reagan, you know, the deaf daughter that couldn't, speak, played wonderfully by Millicent Simmons, discovered a radio source playing on the radio from this song called and said that there might be a lot of people that can help us. So she went off in the night to find the source. Mother Evelyn panicked and asked Emmett to quickly bring the daughter back. So the film has two paths or two story threads. The first story thread is the quest for external help from this radio source with Emmett and Reagan. The second path is the survival of Evelyn, the son, and the newborn baby in the factory, because you know the monsters are still out there. They can just come and attack anytime. Alright? So this time we are introduced to the world outside the farm, the outside world. We see abandoned cities, we see abandoned train stations, we just see shoes and bags left over after the monster attack. It's pretty heart-wrenching. We also see a bridge with a lot of cars. So we can imagine how the world affects. Even we also see a group of people that we think are cannibals. They are extremely very harmful and murderous. Now at this point, the pacing and the editing, I feel mirrors that of Steven Spielberg and how he did Jaws. You know, like you don't show too much of the monster, you only show it when you need to. It helps to build up tension and it helps to allow the audience to have a slow review.
Come on down and chum some of this shit.
And a very big set piece ensues at the boat dock, and we discover that, spoiler, the monsters cannot swim. So Emmett and Regan find the radio source on this island, and shocking, everyone on the island acted like life is normal. They have barbecue, a big bonfire, as though like the invasion never occurred. Here we are also introduced to Man on the Island, played wonderfully by Jaeman Hanso, who has agreed to help Emmett and Regan broadcast the feedback signal from her hearing aid to the radio station, hoping that the signal will help everyone to defeat the monsters. But shit happens again. When Emmett learns that the monster that he fought before at the dock came to the island and found its way on top via boat. Now this is where the action kicks up 2, 3, 4 notches into hyperdrive, and we cut cross between the attack on the island and the attack on the factory because the monster has found Evelyn and her children. So back on the island, Regan needs to reach the radio station to broadcast her hearing aid and spread the feedback towards the world. And at the factory, Evelyn needs to defend her son and her newborn baby because there was a monster coming after them. This particular cross-cutting old Hollywood technique was very effective because I felt very, very tense in the whole movie itself. This particular portion creates a third act that is so satisfying that it really makes me miss what's good about Hollywood: good storytelling and not the current shit that we see today. Anyway, finally this particular film sets up the growth of the two Abbott children. They take over their father's role as savior and protector of the family. The last scene where the two children triumph, fantastic. I love it. I almost cried. Really, it was really wonderful. Salute to John Krasinski, who wrote, directed and acted in this film. He's so talented, I hate him. Anyway, although he only appears at the beginning, he does spend the rest of the time behind the lens, directing and spending his time which is needed for the development of this film and the world of this monster. The premise that monsters will kill you if you make a sound is a clever and scary idea. So, whenever the characters walk or make noise, you can cringe because the characters can die anytime. Every leaf that crackles in the forest, every door that opens or squeaks makes you uncomfortable. And if a film that makes the audience in a theater silent and tense and cringe, damn, you know this film is some good shit. Okay, this movie was made for the theaters and was supposed to launch last year, March 2020. But you know what? I'm glad it didn't, because COVID happened. They held on and they rejected any temptation to broadcast it over streaming. Because if it was over streaming, the experience would not be the same. On a personal note, do watch out for the rising star of Millicent Simmons, the deaf actress that practically announced her arrival to Hollywood from the last film. But here, this film, she shares screen time with Cillian Murphy. She's almost like, a new co-lead, so to speak, okay? And she was very comfortable taking the lead in this particular film. Actually, I think it's actually her story for this second film, This film, it has action, it has horror, it has suspense, it has great world building, and it has great sound design. I'm gonna give A Quiet Place Part 2 an A+. Go and watch it now. Hollywood, listen to me. Please make more of these films. It's worth the ticket, and we will come. And as always, please click like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for more content.